Hey, it's Kayla, and I want to talk about some of the issues I have with a YouTuber, Kyla, notsoErudite. So I watched a video by the YouTuber Cherry, and she makes a lot of good points and shows a lot of the same problems that I have with Kyla. Like, my problem with her has a lot to do with the fact that she seems to say stuff without necessarily having all the information or doesn't think things through and comes off as like really rash, and that leads to saying like really dumb and or really morally questionable things, or things just like are false. And that was a lot of the criticisms I had about her. And it's ironic because when she responded to me, she didn't respond to any of the things I was actually saying. And instead, she just brings up this band that I wasn't even talking about. And that has not really anything to do with my actual criticism of her at all. And she brings it to my drug addiction, which, look, my drug addiction is like a big part of like the persona like I've recently kind of created, and it's even in my name. So like the fact is, like, chances are people are going to talk about it anyways, but the fact is that she brought it to that when it didn't have to be brought to that. And she's a drug counselor. So I do find it like quite disgusting that she did it. Like, and yeah, obviously some of that like onus is on me, but the fact that she would go there is just morally disgusting. Like, she could have, instead of just either addressing what I said or just saying like, hey, I don't really understand completely where Kayla is coming from, like, or she could have, if she wanted to respond at all, and if she didn't specifically want to like take the time to go and look at it, but instead she just seems to talk out her ass a lot and like say these things. And like another problem I was mentioning was because this other server that she's on is like mocking my suicidality. They have a channel called Gang Stalking Kyla, and it's like they have these antifreeze emojis to mock like my attempt to unalive. And it's like, so looking at it, I was like, oh, of course Kyla would be a member of this, because she acted like very, very insensitive and callous about my attempt. And that's like a lot of the issue I have with her is like, she knows I made an attempt. She knows I was in ICU. And the thing was like, I was using Duster a lot to try to curve wanting to. So I've been passively wanting to unalive for like years now. But at some points that I was active, and part of why I was huffing the Duster, right, is because I was trying to curve it. And I didn't want to end up back in ICU again with another breathing tube down my throat, which was a very bad time for me. And I was in VC, kind of whatever, plaguing my channel and trying to distract from the fact that like this is a very damaging long term. And a lot of the people in the VC with me were joking about it with me in a way that made it easier to kind of not be worried about those long-term effects. But then some other person who's actually a druggie themselves, this is quite interesting, came on and was really mocking me in a very harsh way, which, I mean, I didn't necessarily mind that as much. I mean, I actually thought probably more people would openly mock me in this way. But the fact is that person was also talking about a lot of the like long-term effects about, which, like, the thing is, I knew about the long-term effects already, okay? But I was trying not to think about it because it was, again, helping me distract from not wanting to unalive, which, so, like, I was having a lot of trouble communicating that, so it came off in a way that, like, I wanted to, like, necessarily wanting to unalive in that moment in a way that I didn't, but it made it come off as that way. So, because, yeah, I more, like, passively want to unalive than actively want to unalive, but, like, it did come off as that way in the VC, partly because of the drugs that were making it hard for me to communicate in the best way. And then, but what I said, given what I said, she responded to me in such, like, a harsh and callous way in the DMs, and she ended up like timing me out for 24 hours. That, given that in the way she responded to me, it's like, okay, much of why I was banned, like, why she didn't like me, I think was from optics and stuff like that, which I get on some level, but you still don't have to talk to me in such, like, an inconsiderate way to, like, just, like, you could have shown, like, just a bit of humanity and said, like, whatever, you know, I hope you're okay, or this or that, instead of, oh, you broke a rule. You talked about wanting to unalive, which I know why I specifically am the only one who's not allowed to talk about it is for optics, but, like, which, okay, I think is, like, whatever, I don't even get into that right now because I'm going to ramble too much, but also the fact that bothers me, they act like I'm not allowed to talk about it for my own good in some respect, and the fact that she responded to me like that shows that it's completely just about optics, and that was one of my biggest problems with her, and then seeing the fact that she's in this other server, like, that's where, like, a lot of my problems come from, was how she responded to me in that, and the act of, like, telling people that it's for my own good that I'm not allowed to talk about certain things. Even though I was on the server, I read other people who talk about, like, wanting, about unaliving and that type of stuff, so I was taking it all in, but then she was saying I couldn't express myself in that situation, which is one of the worst things, because that means, like, I'm able to, like, see it, and it's on my mind, but I'm not even able to, like, have an outlet to express myself. And yeah, granted, I have other outlets, but I'm just saying from her point of view, and to even act like it's for my own good, I think that's complete nonsense. And that does go into, like, some of the problems I have with her. The main problems, like, the like, fact is that, like, I thought, like, a lot of the reasons why I was timed out and, like, stuff was nonsense, which is why, like, I didn't even, like, care that I got banned. I was trying not to get banned. But the problems I have with her, like, run a lot deeper than that. Like, I don't really care about that stuff on some level. Like, yeah, I think a lot of it is, like, the people were shit people who were involved in that. Like, she wasn't really even involved with the moderation too much with me, but I'll get into that as well. But just my problems with her run much deeper.